What's going on, beautiful people? Welcome back to another episode of the After You cast. As you can see today, we're switching up the style as we always do. I like to keep things interesting. Always the scenery, the backdrop, the individuals. They always have to bring something new and bring something unique to you. So, without further ado, would you please introduce yourselves to the people? Let's start with you.
Thank you. So, I'm Tina Sharma. I'm an actor and model from London, and a little bit about my background. I guess I started acting and modelling since I was about 16. I was discovered at some fashion event that I went to, and the rest is history, really. So I was kind of doing that a little bit in the background while sort of building a finance career, and I guess now I'm in it full time. So yeah, that's
amazing. Well, thank you for coming on today. Appreciate it. And on this side,
I'm Jonny Britcher. I'm an actor, writer, executive producer, MC, rapper. Triple threat. I don't dance. I can't dance. But yeah, so main pride and passion is acting.
Nice.
So, which linked up with Tina on a project that we've done recently, and that's kind of what I'm pursuing and what I do.
Brilliant. Well, again, thank you for coming on, my man. Appreciate both of you for sharing your time. As we always say on here, time is our most valuable asset because we can never get it back. So, appreciate you guys for sharing that. Also, with a shout out before we jump into things for Yaw, who's recently just on the pod. Appreciate you, my brother, for making this connection possible. And this is what we talk about sometimes. When you're putting things out and you put them out into the atmosphere, you never know where they're going to connect to and what people they're going to link you to. So always think positively about your connections and then think about who you can further connect with after that. So big shout out to you, brother. And so got a few things to talk about today. As you can imagine, Yaw is actually, as we know, as a film director, has worked on a project that is upcoming at the moment, which these two lovely individuals have had a chance to work on. So we're going to talk a little bit about their backstory, how they got into acting, but also a little bit about the upcoming project as well. Maybe so much the narrative as opposed to the storyline. So that's what we're going to jump into. So without further ado, Tina, tell us a little bit about how you got into just acting itself. Like, you mentioned briefly, at 16, that was kind of the first little introduction, but what was it like getting into the scene?
So I had such a passion for it since I was younger, and I think when I first got approached when I was that age, I was a little bit sort of sceptical but hugely excited about doing my first photo shoot and thinking of where that could lead to. And I think at the time, my parents were quite keen for me to sort of pursue my education more, sort of coming from an Indian background. I'm sure a lot of people can resonate with that.
Absolutely.
That was kind of their forefront of what they wanted me to pursue more and more. But I did do quite a bit sort of part-time, I guess, and then that led to sort of TV commercials, and I guess that creativity and that passion is something that I've always loved. But as I said, I sort of built my finance career, and I worked in various different banking groups and that sort of thing. So I've always kind of kept acting there on the side. But I guess over the last few years, I've really it was during lockdown, actually.
Really?
I think that was a huge reflection period for a lot of people.
It was massively,
and I think I got more and more opportunities come my way, and I'm a true believer in, if you see the signs and you want something hard enough and you put the work in, you absolutely get it. So I just really took that time to do more work on the acting space, and I'm actually pleased to say that earlier this year I've left my 9 to 5 job to pursue this sort of full time. So
listen, congratulations.
Thank you.
That's a big step, and a lot of people kind of to and fro with that step. So congrats.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, and it's a risk, as we've all got bills to pay and financial responsibilities and that sort of thing. But I think following your passions and your dreams, if you could do it, you get one chance. And for me, it was the right time for me to jump in and do that. So I'm excited to be in that space now.
That's brilliant, honestly. I think, like you just mentioned as well, with COVID, it was such a very pivotal time for a lot of people, whereas they really questioned what they were doing. I've seen people that I know that were running businesses for 5, 10, 15 years, and it was just gone overnight, and you're just like, wow. All right, was I really enjoying it? Did I really enjoy what I was doing? Was I passionate about it? And I think a lot of people transitioned either back to or to something that they were actually passionate about.
There were a lot of in WhatsApp groups, sharing of information during lockdown. So university courses. Remember that? Courses were coming out.
Zoom was making money,
and this is what I mean. So you're sitting at home and you're thinking, am I happy doing what I'm doing?
Yeah.
So everyone was reflecting on that, and then you get a little ping on your phone. You're like, Open University, and then boom,
it's just
go and do
taking
something
that step,
completely
isn't
different.
it? I think it's hard doing that step, because you kind of think about your stability and your comfort and your lifestyle and all of those things that are going to change, and taking all that into consideration. But I think if you want it hard enough and you're willing to do the work, then absolutely you can. I'm a firm believer that you can create your own reality, and you've got to just do it.
Yes. I mean, I previously spoke about 2 episodes ago, someone came on, was talking about manifesting, and I said that I have no issue with it whatsoever, but I think we leave out the practice, we leave out the important bits after the thought and the concept, and then we don't really follow through with the important steps. So I think adding that part in and telling people about that part of the story is important. So that confidence of making the step to say, I'm doing this now wholly, wholesale.
And I'd love to say it's like it's all rosy, but it's really not. I mean, you have your up days and your down days. I'm sure everyone can resonate with that. And I think it's kind of taking stock of those times where it is really hard, and then appreciating actually the highs when they do come, because then actually they're a lot more sweeter, and you can't let that kind of bog you down a little bit. Because I do have days where I think about, have I made the right decision? But then actually when something good comes out of it, then I'm like, of course I made the right decision. This is totally the path for me, and you feel it and you live it, and 100%. It's about doing it.
Well, I mean, that sounds like a very much of a creative way of coming into most industries. I speak to a lot of creatives, and it tends to be that passion overrides whatever else they're doing, and then they find a way to make it work somehow. Some people make a little bit longer working that 9 to 5, like you mentioned. Some people just say, no, I've got to do it, and that's it. So it's great to hear that you've made that leap of faith. You know what I mean? So Jonny, tell us a little bit, man, about how you got into the acting scene.
So for me, I'd say I've always been a performer. So at school, often from 8, 9, 10 years old, I'd do this little thing called impression time. So we'd all be chilling in the playground, and all of a sudden I'd be like, boom, impression time, and then I'd come out with a load of different impressions of people I'd seen on TV the night before. But at that time I was just doing it because it was fun, and I enjoyed it. So then, like we were saying earlier, and then I was playing football. So the idea was, like everybody, I think Yaw said it as well on the pod that he did with you, is that in our community, everybody wanted to be a footballer.
Facts.
So but again, from the reason I say that, because from the performance side of it, is that I was a good footballer, and I always put my effort in 100%. But even if there was one man and his dog there,
you're still playing.
Because and every time I did something, I looked to the man and the dog to see,
see if he liked it.
To see if he liked it. So I've always had that in me. And then football didn't go the way I wanted it to. But then that coincided with going to college.
Okay. Where did you go to college?
Langley College.
Okay, cool.
For a short time. But I met my core friends there. And I think maybe in the common room everybody played cards and rapping and all this sort of stuff, and then I was like, I can do a bit of rapping and MCing, so I went and got involved. And then one of the guys there, Apex, Aaron Richardson, my good family friend, said, I'm going to put a music group together. Do you want to get involved? So I was like, cool. So me, my friend CJ, Mark Hilton, We were in a group called Secret Society, Leroy Lawrence. So we had producers, DJs, MCs.
That's heavy.
So it got to a stage where I think like the most people we performed in front was like 1,000 people.
That feels like 10,000.
Yeah,
I can imagine.
Yeah, but again, it's that interaction with CJ, predominantly with the two of us going back to back. How to hold the crowd's attention. How to interact with them. How not to talk over CJ when he's doing his thing. But bring it to life as well. So you're not just two people standing there.
Spitting bars.
It becomes entertainment.
Absolutely.
In itself. So then again, I'm performing.
Stage presence.
And then I thought to myself, I always wanted to be an actor, but again, like Tina, I never really told anybody.
Okay.
I thought, no, I can't do that. And then I had a daughter when I was quite young. And then that made me kind of just focus on work. So again, I was in the finance industry, working for a bank. And then on a day-to-day, you're like, yeah, I'm good at this. And then you start earning a little bit more money. And you're like, okay, no, I can do this. Then you earn a bit more money. And now you're kind of like in that lane.
I know what you mean. There's that point where you reach where it's like, all right, this is kind of what I do now. What I'm known for.
Exactly. But then, so the crux of it is when I was watching a TV program with Lenny James in it. Do you know Lenny James?
Yes.
So Walking Dead.
Of course.
English actor.
I know you're
So he was in a program that I remember watching like years and years ago called Storm Damage. With Ashley Waters was in there.
Big up Ashley.
There's loads of young English prominent actors that are now established that were in this. I always liked those pretty English urban things, right?
I know
so you watch them all. So watch Save Me, highly recommend it if you go and watch that, with Saran Jones as well. And then literally I was engrossed in it, like the story, like I've just really felt it. And then as soon as it finished, I turned to my wife and I just said, I'm going to do this, I want to be an actor. And she was just like, and even then I was like wanting her, but if she'd have said, oh nah,
you might have been like,
I would have said
because it was on that fine line of like trying to shoot the confidence.
I said it because I wanted to put it
into the atmosphere
out there, like what you were saying earlier. And then she said she backed it. Do you know what I mean? She backed it.
Oh, I love it.
And I was like, oh shit. So kind of like, which I love her and appreciate her for that. So she's like basically pushed me to do it.
That's
and then from there, like, you just, how do you do it? You know? So I don't know what you did, Tina, but it's like Star Now. These like websites that you go on and apply for student films and auditions and talent talks and little different things like this.
I think network as well. That's so important. I think that's been a massive part of, you know, how I kind of maybe took a bit of time out and then got back into it over the last few years. And it's kind of drawing on all of that and, you know, building great relationships and then but, you know, using that and along with the things that you mentioned. I think it all goes hand in hand, but I don't think a lot of people see the work that goes into the back end of it.
No, they definitely don't.
I'm sure you can speak to that, Jonny, as well.
The graft is like
unreal,
constant auditioning, constant not hearing back all the time. Am I good enough?
Sending out constant emails.
Why haven't I heard back from this one, this job, that job? Really feeling like you've nailed an audition, and then it's just radio silence. But then when you get something, like you said, like the peaks and troughs, it's like when you do get something, you're just like, I'm doing this, I want to do this. But I think it's like, I don't think I want to be an actor. I am an actor.
I hear you. I see what you mean. Yes, I see what you mean. Exactly. It's not, you haven't chosen this like career path per se. It's more so this is who you are as a person.
So it's how I express myself. And it's kind of like, again, from football. So that 90 minutes when you're playing, I felt this so many times. It's like spiritual. It's like, it's mad. Like when you're playing for that 90 minutes, nothing else exists. It's so true. It's like you're in a time warp.
100%.
And then final whistle goes and it's
just like like the world comes flooding back in.
Yeah, reality starts again. So like when you're in front of the camera, it's the same feeling for me.
Yeah.
So you just lose yourself in it. It's
almost like they try to explain being in the zone. You know, when they try to explain being in the flow and in the zone of things, it's
flow
that's why
state,
it's hard
right?
to
Exactly.
flow state. Where it's damn near impossible to explain because it's who you are as a person. It's like your internal just fibers, mechanisms, just directed to that one task, and that's a unique experience. You know what I mean? But like, Tina, talk a little bit on your first experience. What was that like? Was it compared to obviously the work you're doing now? Like,
oh god,
what's changed?
My first proper acting gig was this music video that I did many moons ago, and it was for a really well-known Punjabi artist, and that went way bigger than I ever thought it would. And even now to this day, I will still get messages about it, and tagged and things about it and that sort of thing. So it's lovely to see that. But that was my first like kind of real acting experience, and when I look back on that now, you always kind of, I don't know about you, Jonny, but I can't look back on my things that I filmed. I always feel that as much as I want to critique it, I always feel a little bit like I
better than that now.
I just find it difficult watching it, but I mean so that really propelled me, and I think that's where I kind of, that was affirmate, like that was the, I guess, the confirmation for me, to say this is what I want to do, and that's sort of who I am. So I definitely kept it going, but it was a really daunting experience, like when you're, everything's just about you at that time, and
all the camera crew and everyone all around,
and all of that, like hair and makeup, everything's frantic, and that shoot that was supposed to be for 6 hours went on for 18 hours, and it was just insane because they had because this artist was quite well known, they had it's like got these competition winners that had flown in from Canada, and they were doing like interviews, and I had to go and do interviews as the lead girl in this video, and that was all really daunting because it was so new to me. I was so young, but a great experience because it taught me so much. And I think when I look back at that and things that I would do differently now, I think it was a great learning curve. And then since then, just kind of, I guess films have probably been a bigger part of my life over the last 3 or 4 years. But before that, I'd mainly sort of been TV commercials and that sort of thing.
More short form.
Short form concept. And I think whilst I was building that finance career, and I'm glad that I did it that way, because building all of that has now given me that sort of stability, I guess, financially, to give me that freedom now to go and focus on the bigger things. And where I'm getting more film roles and that sort of thing is definitely where I want to now focus my efforts, and it's given me that ability to do so.
I like that.
So
a lot of people don't think about that. I mean, they sometimes get lost in the creativity. You know what I mean? And then life hits you in different ways, and then the creativity suffers. Because we do have to unfortunately find that balance, don't we? Of how much am I earning? Am I earning enough? And then, but like you just mentioned, that's a good little message for other young people and aspiring people, is that you don't have to 100% focus on it in the early stages. You can put other things in place. You can maybe do something that's more logistical, more pragmatic, before you actually get to doing that creativity. And sometimes it can even amplify your creativity and what you do, because it gives you, like you said, that grounding. You know what I mean? But Jonny, what was your first experience like working on a set?
On a set, so when you say you critique it and go back, right? So I actually drove past the place where I did one of my first short films the other day, and I literally drove past like that. I didn't even want to look at the building. I was thinking, that was terrible. I'm thinking that, I don't know if it was, but it's kind of like, it was for
comparing it.
It's for a student film, and it was called I think Romance is Dead, and it was about a ghost. So a guy lives in a flat, and he's very lonely, and a ghost lives in there as well. So a girl had passed away in the flat and has been trapped in the flat. And the way that she is able to free herself from the flat because she falls in love with the guy that lives there, and then they connect. It's really strange. But I was the office dickhead. Right, so I was in the office and I used to bully this guy. So I remember I went to the audition for that, and it's just the first like face-to-face audition I did, and I had to prepare a monologue for it. So I wrote my own.
Nice. What's that like as well? Yeah, because it's different. That's like improv, and I took a bit of that with Yaw, but like monologues.
So monologues, I think they're great schooling and a foundation for what you do. Obviously, you can have your own take on the way you present the monologue, or you can do it in the same style as the character that you're portraying.
Yeah.
Like a popular one, Denzel Washington, Training Day. So I thought, why not just write my own one? Because it makes more sense, because then I can get the emotion out.
Facts.
Exactly,
it's more authentic.
So these are just students.
Yeah.
So it was at Roehampton University, so they walked me through to the film area.
Yeah.
But as we were walking through, obviously there was all these Macs desktops just lined up, so much like camera equipment I can see, and then the closer that we were getting to the room, I was
because you're like,
oh shit, this is real.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then I thought, the only way I'm going to do this is if I just give it my all. So I think by the time I'd finished my monologue, they were just like, they were a little bit like, whoa, because I went hard. It's all or nothing sort of thing. Yeah. And then they went, yeah, cool, we'll get back to you. And then I walked out thinking, I fucked it.
Yeah.
And then they called me like 2 days later.
Wow. There you go.
So
impact.
I think, so that is kind of what ticked the box. As much as I thought it was bad, them giving me the confirmation that they thought I was alright, obviously you just carry on
100%.
and you keep going. Had I not got the part, I guess I would have just kept applying for stuff, but I think with Yaw as well, and us being on the same agency websites at the time, quite often would do a lot of like adverts.
Okay.
So like just getting used to sets as well.
Yeah.
As does O2.
Yep.
Like background artists.
Yeah, getting extras and getting into
sort
the
of thing. And just thinking and just watching the main people and thinking, okay, one day
you get the chance.
I'll get the chance to do what you're doing.
Yeah.
So, but everything is a learning curve. So even if you are bad, you're still learning.
Yeah. Facts.
Yeah.
You need to. You've got to start somewhere.
Yeah, and even like doing like the commercials and all of that sort of thing. I think it's important to go on that journey, because no set is ever the same, and it's great to get that experience, I think, from different sets, isn't it? Because then you kind of it better prepares you for like bigger things that you do, and I think that makes you a rounded actor, I think, and better prepared for other things that you do.
100%.
The timing that you said, so like the time that you were supposed to be doing that shoot, I think I did an Asda Christmas advert, and we had to wear ice skates.
Okay.
And there was an ice rink, right? So
wow.
Freezing cold.
Yeah.
Right. Then if people remember the advert, but it was all on skates. So the family are all on skates. Everybody, the delivery driver was on skates. That was the whole concept.
Right.
The Christmas advert.
I feel like it's ringing a bell a little bit.
So this was meant to go on for like, we were told 6 hours.
Wow,
and then we were there way into the night.
Wow.
Just sitting on this ice.
Just freezing up.
Just freezing. And it's like, this is what I want to do.
Trying to tell yourself.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I was just like, mad.
Oh, man.
So you just go through it rough and smooth.
Exactly. You said it perfectly there, like the rough and the smooth. And I think that's in any art form that you end up working in, there's going to be ups, downs, peaks, troughs, ebb and flow. So yeah, I think it's important to take note of that.
What you mentioned as well about when you the auditions and things, and like doing self tapes and things. I think that can be quite a grueling process as well, because you put so much effort, I think, into preparation and getting that right. And it's what you said about when you get into that audition space and not knowing how you've done, if you've done well or whatever, that finding out period. And then more often than not, you could be in a situation where actually you didn't get, because there's hundreds and thousands of people that are applying for things that you're applying for. And I think you've just got to be prepared for that and know that you might not get it, but you have to just put your all into it. And you might prepare, like spend half a day or a day or whatever to preparing for it. That might lead to nothing. But I think as an actor, you need to be mentally prepared for that, don't you? Because
but that's training as well, so that's the good thing.
Is, yeah.
So and especially with you when you're doing self tapes, especially during the pandemic, because everything was like online.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, so they've kept a lot of that now in auditions. But you finish your self tape, and then you go back through your phone, and you've done 30 takes, and you're like, shit, Jesus Christ, I've done 30, and then you've got to go through them all to work out which is the best one. You get through them all, and then you're like, oh, one more. And then you do one more. So it's training. All of that, like even if you don't hear back, it's training. So it's all constructed.
And
you have,
one thing that I definitely now do with self-tapes, because I completely resonate with that, and I hate it 'cause going through all of that, you kind of almost forget what you've done before, and then actually, was that one better? Or was that one better? And what, I like that one, that bit from there, but
it's
that bit
subjective
from there,
to a degree. Yeah,
and it's really difficult. So now I'll just practice off camera as much as I can, and then when I feel like I'm in a good space with it, I'll just do 3, a max of 3, and limit to that, because I feel like that helps me then narrow it down. And then, because I think you'll resonate with this, Jonny, when you've done a scene multiple times, like you'll start to flag, and then you won't get the same intention or the same emotion across with it. And I think you've got to do it only a limited amount of times to really kind of get that conviction through. So max of 3 is what I've been practicing recently.
I see exactly what you mean. It's almost like it's like a fine line between wearing out, because you almost need that. You want it to feel fresh when you deliver it, but at the same time, repetition is part of the reason why you learn it, isn't it? So it's like within that repetition, you're also losing a little bit of like, zest or a little bit of like punch when you deliver it. Is that kind of what you're getting at? Yeah,
absolutely. Because I think to get the emotion across, I think you need to. For me, I definitely like learn all the kind of basics, like the lines and all of that, and then put the intention in afterwards, because I feel like then your emotions will come across fresher when you're actually recording the take. So that's how I'd kind of go with it, really. So the 3's the kind of I don't know if that's helpful for anyone, but
when I submit, if it's an online one, I send 3 takes, so I'll do 3 variations. Agent will either send, I guess, 3 variations to the people, or they'll pick the best one themselves, but I always do the 3 variations and send it in. But no, I do multiple takes on camera. Like,
I used to do
to
that.
work out what's best. I just like the framing, and to see it all. I prefer doing that than looking in the mirror.
Of course.
That's what you mean.
Because I want to see.
You want to see what it's going to look like, as opposed to what I look like delivering it.
But I might not recordable now. It's a good bit of advice.
Do you think that might just getting in a frenzy? It's difficult then, because I was totally like it. I was like, I'm going to go through 30 tapes, and
well, it's fine tuning, isn't it? And I mean, that's the beautiful part about it. It's like it's not rigid. It's not a rigid process, and then you still have the element of like, does the director relate to how you're doing it? Because your perspective might be slightly different from what he or she wants. So, speaking of that, how you guys have come together is through an upcoming project that you're going to be working on, called Absent, and that is. Well, first of all, tell us how this whole project kind of came around. Like, how do you guys get a chance to?
I think so. Where I'm wanting to be an actor, or I am an actor, and I'm pursuing it. Friends, circles, like-minded people. So Yaw Sarfo, who we had on previously, I think we were at football. Power League, still trying to kick ball, and both our knees are gone. All of our knees are gone. And then, so we were just sitting in the car chatting, and then I think I was just like, we need to do something. Like, why we do all these auditions and just do something ourselves? Simple. And I'd say for me, again, Yaw is massive, because similar to my wife saying,
just do it.
Yaw was constantly like, do it.
Let's get it done.
Do you know what I mean? Like, do it. And sometimes I need that. So then it became a reality. So we were like, what are we going to do then? And then we were kind of like, well, we've got friends and some personal experiences from parents that don't necessarily get to see their children. So we were like, if you're going to do something, let's do something about stuff that we know that's true, that people can resonate with. So Yaw wrote a short story, which is basically about the breakdown of relationships, and to make it entertaining, we put it kind of like in a sporting environment. I won't give too much away. And then we were looking for actors, so we did it like properly, but again, like Tina was saying, the networking and stuff, you meet so many people. This is a good thing, right? I like this about acting, right? When you're on set and you meet people, you think you're going to know that person forever. So whilst you're in that scenario,
I know what you mean,
you're like, let's do that, and you're all friends and stuff. But some of those people, you'll never see them again. But then others, in Tina's case, so Tina had that relationship with Yaw on a project that they did. So we were kind of like, okay, this is low budget, we need to call in favours. So everyone gets on the phone, and then reached out to Tina, and she got involved in the project as well. So
brilliant.
Yeah, so I met. I was mentioned on a previous project, and I think it's about like-minded people coming together, and I think both really shared a passion for what we wanted to do, and then actually met Jonny as well through Yaw, and then we had a meeting, spoke about the project, and I was like really excited to be involved. Having worked with him before, I was like, this is definitely someone I can work with, and I could clearly see his vision, and actually the story is very relatable, and I think it's one that needs to be told. So I was really excited to be on board with that project. So I think we just got our sort of team together, called in people that we sort of knew and that could really
close
help
people,
and support.
favours,
and I think everyone worked really hard to pull together what we did. So extremely proud of that.
That is one thing I love about short films in general, working on short film productions, is you tend to meet a lot more, I won't call them necessarily specialists, but more passion-based individuals. As you got ladder, because I've had a chance, I've been very lucky to work on some big productions. One thing you notice is that as it filters down to the people that are slightly less important in terms of the credits, is also the application waters down a little bit too. But when you tend to work on short productions, I had a chance of working on one with my boy Perry, who's a cinematographer, filmmaker, and the storylines tend to be more connected to reality, and then the people working on the set tend to be more invested in what they do. You know what I mean?
I say it's a passion project, isn't it? And you don't want people to mess it up. You want to get the story across in the best way possible. But then again, with short films and low budget films, it's the graft that we referred to earlier as well, which is like from being on a film set, like you say, and then having makeup done and all of this sort of. I never thought I'd enjoy getting makeup.
It's
but when you're in the moment, when you're there, you're just like,
nice me up, innit? It did nice me up.
Me up. But then when you're making your own film, fuck the makeup.
You're like, we ain't got time for that.
Leave me alone. Carrying the sound equipment and driving here, pick this person up, pick that person up. So I mean, in absent the film, it's like I'm the main character, one of the main characters. But then off camera, I'm driving to this train station, that train station, picking food up for that person. Are you okay? And then
that's deep.
I've got to get my hat on and then deliver the scene. So that all grounds you. But like you say, so the passion element of it is because I wanted to do that.
100%.
And then everybody else there wants to do it as well.
Exactly.
And I think the good thing about when you're bringing in favours and you're asking people to do stuff, it's like there has to be an element of passion from their side. Like getting up on a Sunday morning in the snow and the rain to go and play football for a Sunday team that you're not getting paid to play for, but you get out of bed and you go and do it. So we were asking people to come that had never even contemplated acting before, but when you start doing something, people around you are like, oh, that looks interesting. So if you ask them, they're like, I'll come and help. And then we had people turning up that were really like, fucking hell, I can't do this. and
stressing.
And all of us were like, no, you've got this, come on. This is going to be cool for you. And then we were saying to people like, if you're slightly interested in it, do this film and you'll get a credit, right? So even if you don't do anything in the near future, you've still got a credit and you can go refer back to it if you ever want to get into the industry.
Absolutely.
So as much as we were making a film about a particular topic, which was like struggling to see children in broken relationships, outside of that we were helping our own community as well, and bringing people in and getting people involved and trying to spark an idea or a bit of what's the word, trying to get the ball rolling for other people.
I see what you mean. You're almost trying to like initiate to a degree, or at least give them the opportunity to. You know
so
what I mean?
There were a couple of people that had never done it before that I thought were brilliant.
And actually they did sort of say that they feel inspired now to actually take this up and do it. Even if they want to do it as an extra or like a lead or really pursue it, I think it's planting that seed, isn't it? And then when they've had the experience of being on the set, whether it's a short film or a feature film or whatever, then you'll know it's that practical side of it. I think that was definitely appreciated from the people that we spoke to.
That is a good thing. I mean, as we obviously don't want to give away too much about the story because it's yet to be released, what we can do is we can touch on, you know, the general talking point in itself, like the absence of relationships and the difficulty in people trying to build them. And as we can see with today, with social media and more technology just coming every single day, it's becoming much harder, you know, in general, to have those relationships, but particularly in the household, I think it's become strained too as well. You know what I mean? So what would you guys say in terms of just the general talking point and how that's affected what you guys do, and also how that just relates to you as individuals?
You mean speaking to people? Like, I saw something, someone sent me something this morning. I can't remember the name of the guy's Instagram page. Okay. It's something to do with fathers. Okay, yeah. And he's talking, I don't know if it's his son or not, but he's talking to the boy. And he says, have you ever knocked for someone? And this kid's like, what? Yeah, he's like, have you ever knocked on the door to ask if your friend is dead? And he's like, I'll just call him. And he's like, this is character building, right? And he basically goes in to say, you've got to get in your head, you've got to work out, is it an appropriate time to knock on the door? Yeah. Do I knock? How hard do I knock? Do I ring the bell? Yeah. Is his dad going to be in bed?
Did he have a dog?
Do they have a dog? Yeah. Are they eating dinner? Right. And then someone opens the door, and then you're like, is Jonny there, please? And then you've just got this stare.
Like,
you know,
waiting for a response.
And then it's like, I think from our generation, we're more hands-on when it comes to relationships. But now you move forward, it's like I try and keep my kids grounded. That's good. I think everything is now really dismissive because it's so easy to be dismissed because of the options that you've got on social media, and it's just like move on to the next one. So I think relationships at a core, you just have to stay in communication with people and talk to people. But I think that's being lost. Like you say. But then again, people hide behind the screen. So I mean, it even relates to the film that we did. It's just like if one parent can't see the child for one particular reason, it's like you can't. How can you can't access? You can't get that person. They can block you on social media. They can block your phone number. The distance can be like felt. The distance can be felt. But back in the day, you had to have a conversation. There was that face-to-face, hands-on, like you just said. Exactly. So I hear what you're saying. It's I don't know what you think, Tina, but it's
I think it's lost. Like in this, as much as I agree with like social media and the benefits that it's got, I think that personal touch, I think, is still important from a humanity point of view. And even if it's a relationship or a friendship or whatever, I think you always just need to have that communication with them separate from anything else. I think it's important not to lose that. You don't see the emotion, right? So what I say is, if you get a text message from someone telling you that you're not allowed to see your child, it's words on a screen. They can't see your reaction or your emotion, and it's literally boom boom, send and done. There is no emotion in it. True. That's true. But then if you're having a face-to-face conversation, whether it's remediation or whatever it is, you're connected. You've got to stay engaged. So even if you don't get on with the person, you can still understand their emotion. So you might be able to work something out, which is why mediation's a great thing to do. But not everybody's prepared to do that. So it's like open communication is always key. But so phone. I mean, I like my phone. I'm like anybody. It's of course. You move with the times and technology, but it is definitely, as much they call it social media, it's not that social. No, it's everything.
Well, it makes me think that, as you guys were both explaining, like some of the issues that we have today are very highly linked within more access to opportunity and just people in general. But even just look at the industry that we all kind of work in the film industry, working in and around, it's all personality, it's all the connections that you know, right? Like the jobs that you're going to get next is usually because of somebody you know. So imagine if we had to just rely solely on getting these jobs based off of just that, I think it'd be even harder.
Oh,
you know what I mean? So like, I think on one side we do appreciate and understand we need these connections to get through in life, but social media somehow convinces us that like, oh, it's enough to just have views and clicks and numbers. You know, so like, I think that's a problem too.
I think it's just about, like, for me personally, I'm a bit more disciplined now on social media than I was before. Like, I don't let it consume me a lot.
That's
like,
good.
before, I feel like it was just running my life more than I was running it. If that makes sense. And whilst I use it as my business tool and it's really effective at that, and I use it to communicate and that sort of thing, I think I just do limit my time. How I spend, if I'm, you know, with family or my partner or whatever, then that is my dedicated time with that, and I don't tend to delve into all of that. But I think it is just having that discipline. For some people, you know, you can't always be like that. Depends on the nature of your work or how you use it. But I think it's important to almost have that breakaway, and I have sort of broken away a little bit. I still use it for what I need it for, but I think it's like a healthier way, I feel, mentally sort of dealing with it.
Yeah. It's I mean, in anything that we appreciate, I think there needs to be a side of discipline in anything, doesn't there? It's like if we allow things to just go free, you tend to find you don't really enjoy them over time. You know, it's just the same old thing when people say I'm too much of something, you don't tend to enjoy it. I think it's kind of similar with that too. The more we can insert bits of discipline here or there, even in creativity, I think it helps the creativity or the creative process. You know?
I've got 2 Instagram accounts. One's friends and family, and the other one is work. But it's kind of like I find myself moving away from the friends and family one, and I don't really interact with it too much. Because like you go down rabbit holes, you get lost, and then you come out and you think, what was I doing? I've not got anything out of that. But then if I'm on my work one, which is me, I am my job. Then it's all algorithms and connecting with people and making sure that you're still visible. So there's that element to it.
Purposeful.
It's purposeful. Putting a post out every now and again to make sure people remember that you're there. But it's not a pointless post. Because someone might see it and think, oh shit, Jonny, Tina, I can use those guys and we can connect, and then you'll get a message and what have you. So there's a purpose to it. But just endlessly scrolling for scrolling's sake is a bit shit. More time when I'm on the friends and family one, I'm sending videos and jokes to my missus who's in the other room. Or I'll watch something and then take it all in, go into the other room, tell her all about it, and then say, I'll watch it. She's like, you've just told me what that is. You know what I mean? And I'm like, true. So, and then I find I do that a lot to people, and then I stop myself. And I'm just like, it's pointless.
It's I know. But that goes to show how powerful it can be, isn't it? It's just like we'll be in another room and we'll still, or even sometimes in the same room, and we'll just be engaged into something for too long. And, you know, not making that, you know, connection or communicating. And
it's a healthy thing to have, I think. Like I said, from a business perspective, from a networking perspective, and just, you know, from an education perspective to some extent, you know. But I think, the discipline for me is definitely have that time and away from it, I think, because then you can get to enjoy both worlds, and that's much nicer, I think. Agreed. One thing I do want to ask both of you guys is, you know, what's one thing that you just love about acting itself? Like, what is it? Something it gives you personally? Is it just a feeling when you're on camera or behind camera? I absolutely love being immersed in somebody else for that period of time. It's what you said, Jonny, about just like switching off from the world, just being in that whole different state of mind, and just even from an empathy point of view, I think, you know, when I'm studying a character and you really want to understand who they are, what they do, how would they react in a certain situation, I think those things I like to know about people, because everyone is different, and I think in order to understand someone, it helps me then delve into, say, a particular character, and I feel like it helps me understand people. And I can be more empathetic towards different people's situations, because, you know, like for example with Absent, in that my character Selena, you know, she has a son, I don't have children, but it allowed me to kind of speak to people, delve into what that would feel like, and understanding that side of parenting, and
unlocks a different part of the brain.
Absolutely, and I think I wouldn't be able to do that if I wasn't sort of acting. I wouldn't go into that much sort of detail. So it allows me to understand people a lot better, and just that, as well as sort of getting that creativity point across as well. So
no, that's
definitely something that I love about it.
100%. I mean, I think you touched on something really important there, which is the immersion. It made me think about languages. In order to connect with somebody properly, if they're from another country or they speak another language, they say the only way or the best way to learn is to immerse yourself in that culture, so that you can pick it up quicker. And I think it's no different with art and creativity as well, like you mentioned. It's you immerse yourself enough around the right kind of people, things rub off. And the beautiful thing I like about film is it's widespread. There's so many different things you can do in the industry. It's not just acting on screen or behind the camera like we are. Anything from props, hair, makeup, special effects, VFX, like it's very vast, dependent on budget, production size, and things like that. So I like the fact that you talk about immersion, because I think that's the best way to educate to other people. You can learn things, but unless you're involved in it, you're not really going to pick up those nuances and those details you need. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What about you, Jonny? What's your thoughts?
I just love the experience of it. So, like Tina and the mum, the capability, like challenging yourself for one, and getting a buzz off of it, putting yourself in a scary situation. Everybody's looking at you. You need to get this right. I've always been, I'd say, if you say you're a big game player, but when you're playing in a cup final or whatever it is, or you're trying to get in the county team, or you're trying to get this scholarship or that, as much as it's daunting, you get that feeling, dry mouth, the heart's beating,
the butterflies in the stomach.
I actually like that feeling. So I like putting myself in that stressful situation. That's good. But then also like trying to think, if you're watching something on the film, like when I said earlier about Save Me with Lenny James, it's like the character that he plays, it's like, I wonder what that feels like to be that person. You get to experience that. That's the thing. So you are somebody else, and I just enjoy being somebody else on the screen, and just experiencing what their life might be like, because you really do think about it. I was telling Tina about an audition that I had to do recently, and it's like about a photographer that isn't very nice, portrays himself to be from the outside, but on the inside he's a nasty piece of work, and he basically grooms the people that he's taking pictures of. So when you have to do work like that, it's an interesting insight into what that person and that character's like. But it's like, especially if it's things that don't resonate with you, I can imagine, like, just like it's really pushing boundaries and testing yourself. You're almost treading a thin line, but it's like you're not that person. But I think it's like akin, it's no different to like reading a book, and understanding a character, like the inside mechanisms of how they work. When you read the book, you understand what their personality is. You put yourself in their shoes almost. We are that book. So people have to read us. I like. Do you know what I mean? I like that. That's a good way of looking at it. You know what I mean? Like, because it's like it encapsulates what you do very nicely. And I'm always all about packaging, trying to find a way to package stories to be able to relay them to others, because I think this is very much what this platform is very much about, is bringing different types of people on, showcasing this, what they look like, this is their story, and you hear it from the horse's mouth, as opposed to speaking on things that you don't necessarily know about, or reaching to places that you can't really reach to. I prefer doing things like this, where you get people on, and there's a wide diversity now. This much down the line of talking to people, and it's kind of interesting for me too, because I feel like I take a little piece of everyone's energy along my journey, and I'm learning and gathering, and it just makes it that much better for not just the audience, but just for the individuals who come on. You know what I mean? I feel like they're actually having a genuine conversation. We're not talking about things that are outside of ourselves. So no, I think that's great, that the experience and the immersion, like that
in general is really where a lot of creatives thrive. You know, is being immersed in what they do, and it's really hard to package it. That's why I think these conversations are great, because people always want to know, how do you get into art? How do you become creative? And I think, I'm not sure if it's something you become. I think it's something more that you are, and you work on it. And you improve
you
it.
are. It's like I was saying earlier. So from school, like from impression time, like I used to do in the break, all the way through to now, it's there. So it's like, if you find yourself leaning towards something and doing something regularly, why not do it full time? Like you know, push yourself to do it.
Yeah.
So like, if you play the piano as a hobby, and go and play in your local pub, or go to an event and get involved and play the piano somewhere, and
I see what you mean.
Enjoy it with people. If you dance in your bedroom, like go to a studio, and meet people that
enjoy doing that.
That enjoy dancing as well.
It's so true.
It's just like, don't just keep it to yourself. Go and experience different things and stuff. But that's like one of the main things there is experiencing other people. And like us being on this podcast now, we were talking to you like half an hour before we started. Just conversation.
Just getting to know each other and stuff.
But I've met you, and you know, branch those relationships out, meet people on set, ask questions. How does that work? What are you doing? What does that entail? It's all fascinating.
And you never know where it's going to lead to either, because I think some of my biggest achievements or roles that I've got, like whether it be, you know, a small project or a short film or a feature film, whatever it may be, it's just come from, a lot of them's just come from networking with people, going for the audition and all of that, but it's kind of having that conversation, and also just putting yourself in that situation. So unless you're there, like out there and speaking to people, you never know where it's going to lead to, and it might not happen in that space, but maybe it might be a year down the line or whatever. But I strongly believe that when things come your way, it's for a reason, and whether you choose to take it is up to you. But I think it's, you know, if you want it enough and you take that step, I think everything happens for a reason. I truly believe that.
Massive agreed. I mean, guys, as you said, we've been kind of glossing around a little bit of the actual project itself, because obviously we don't want to give away the important parts, because we want you to go and check it out. So please, when it does drop, I'll be sharing and resharing, so that all my audience will get to see it. And obviously these guys, Yaw, you know, big shout out to him as well. So these are the kind of projects I think are important, not just for us to shout about, but for us to highlight for the future. Because I think what we're moving into a world with automation and technology and stuff, we're stepping away, like you mentioned, Jonny, about of things are dismissive. It's very much easy to throw things away, and I think we're getting to that point as well with creativity. And I'm really all about passion projects, things that you care about, inspiring the youth and other people, not even just the youth, people in general, to do things that they're passionate about. So when you know that you've got people in your circle who have these things, you know, support them, push them out there, because these connections, you never know where it actually ends up. You may think it's just a black and white thing, me just sharing this bit of information, but come to find out a job opportunity or something changes down the line, and they're like, oh yeah, I remember this person does that thing, and they're the only person I know does it. Sometimes it could be that. And you know, so when it comes out, Absent, please guys, go and check it out and show the guys here some love,
please.
Please do. But as we come to the conclusion of our conversation, one thing I always like to end on is words of wisdom. But before we get there, I wanted to try and talk about what you guys do individually as well, what you may be working on that you can talk about, or something that's just recently dropped, and then obviously just where they can, you know, point to you online. So we'll start with you, Tina.
So you've got a few feature films that are coming out. So one is called Big Trouble in Little India, and that is going to be out hopefully soon. So that's a project that I'm really sort of excited about, sort of set in West London, so very much where I'm from, and
nice.
The whole sort of Asian scene. And it's a nice feel-good comedy to focus on. So I've got that coming out, and a couple of other projects, which I can't really talk about, but you can follow me on Instagram at I am Tina Sharma, and I'll be posting regular updates about what I'm getting up to and everything on that. Amazing.
And Jonny?
So I'm currently about to start a month's worth of rehearsals for my first theatre production that I'm in. So it's called Brassic FM.
Nice.
It's at the Gate Theatre in Camden. It's running all the way through September. which is a bit daunting, but working with an acclaimed theatre director, Steph O'Driscoll, and these are names
I feel like I've
that
heard
I was
name.
aware of beforehand, and there's the music director has worked with the likes of MF Doom and Sampha.
Sampha.
So I'm kind of like, I'm in that room now, so I'm looking forward to that. So it's about a community radio station, and I play one of the central figures.
Brilliant.
Working on that station. So like I said, that runs through September. Again, on Instagram at Jonny Britcher, which is JONNY BRITCHER.
Great.
So
I'll make sure that the links are both in the
quirky
description.
surname.
Yeah, I like it.
We used to make breeches.
Yeah.
Told up trousers.
Yeah.
I'm really gullible, by the way. So.
No, we did. No, I'm being serious.
That's it.
Britcher. That's what it was. Britcher makeup.
Yeah.
So they used to do all the thing there. I don't do it.
No. Proper gears and stuff.
Yeah, that's it, mate. Flat caps and that.
Come on. But brilliant. I mean, I think it's great to bring different types of people on when it comes to art. I try to step outside of just people in my lane, which is, photography, models, video. I think it's good bringing on people who on the other side of the camera who do completely different things, because I think that widens your scope of what you know. So for the audience's purpose, would you guys please give some words of wisdom that for the maybe the up and coming artist or actor, actress, or maybe even just the younger version of yourself?
Oh, God, that's actually quite a deep question. I think just to not be afraid, and if you really want something, I think trusting your gut is really important. So if your gut is telling you to follow your passion in a certain way, then just go for it, because everything will work out how it's supposed to. And if you have that belief and that faith, it will work out. Everything will work out, and everything happens for a reason. A lot of words of wisdom there, but
no, that's
just
fine.
Follow your gut, and I think follow your dreams, because you have, one life. You got to take a risk. I think it's important to do that, and just go for it, because you kick yourself if you don't. Yeah,
that is very true. You don't want to live with regret. Live life to the fullest, but also, like you said, take that leap of faith.
Yeah, be happy.
Yeah, 100%. I like that. Thank you, Tina. How about you, Jonny?
I say, do it.
Yeah,
simple.
Do it. Yeah.
Sometimes I'm going somewhere where I need to be, and I'm driving there, and I think I don't want to do this, but I still go. Make yourself uncomfortable. Put yourself in tricky situations, and come out the other end, and it just builds character, builds yourself.
Yeah.
If you're watching something and you think, oh, that looks cool, do it. Go and do it.
Yeah,
experience it.
Yeah.
Like I say, I watched the film or the program that inspired me. Why can't I do it? I can do it.
Yeah,
just do it.
100%.
If you do it and it doesn't work out, try something else.
Yeah,
it's just like keep moving. Don't get yourself into a little funk and just cutting yourself off from people. Just experience things, and don't care. Do not give a shit what people think. If you enjoy it, that's it.
Yeah.
Simple. And if you're doing what you enjoy and someone says to you you're good at that, then
there's that affirmation almost.
You're on the right path. But if no one says you're good at it, who cares? Just keep doing it because you enjoy it. That's it. Simple.
Oh, that's brilliant, guys. I mean, thank you so much. Honestly, it's been a brilliant conversation from two amazing perspectives with slightly different life experiences, but as you can see, a very common theme, which is the understanding of immersion and experience, and throwing yourself into things, taking leaps of faith, and just believing in yourself to just go and do it. You know what I mean? So thank you. I think this has been kind of a different one, because usually, as the audience obviously knows, I usually do one-to-ones, but I've been opening up to do a little bit more, getting more people on, and it's a process. I think when I first started, I kind of jumped into it a little bit too hot. I had like 4 guests on, different camera angles, all these different things, and I was just like, when I had to do the editing, I was just like, oh my gosh.
I've seen your work from when you had the hair as well.
Yeah.
So I was like,
yeah, man.
I have to show you what my hair used to be.
Oh man, we got to see
My
that.
hair was long.
Yeah, man.
So I've always been aware of you.
Yeah.
And again, it wasn't through Yaw, it wasn't through anybody. I just was aware of you. I think I watched one that you did with Bigger.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, this is cool.
Yeah.
You're on the right thing. But again, it's creatives attract creatives. So 100%. I was like watching some bits that you did. And I was thinking, I like the platform and like the setup.
Yeah.
It's like when you were saying about having 4 people on a different camera angles. So when I used to do podcasting and we did it, it was the same thing.
Yeah.
How many, right, camera there, let's do this, let's do that. But in actuality, what's the purpose of the podcast?
Yeah.
It's to talk to someone.
100%. And there's beauty and simplicity, I think, sometimes,
100%. I love that was been my photographic style, is removing distraction to focus on the important things. And that's why I think I've designed the pod that way. But yeah, it's cool to see that, because I've been seeing your name pop up as well too. When Yaw was on, you mentioned your name, I was like, I've seen his name pop up loads of times on Insta, and see, this is the thing, like, sometimes you don't actually get a chance to meet, but little degrees of separation. I met Yaw through Carlington, and then you mentioned Bigger as well too. Like, it's a much smaller world than we think about. Like, it's crazy.
No, it's good, but no, your format's good, man. I think you keep doing it because it's classy as well, man. I like it.
And thank you for having us on. We really appreciate
Honestly,
it.
No, thank you. Anyone who comes on, they always out there say thank you to me, but at the same time, I'm trying to utilize people's stories. It's about the individuals who come on. So for me, it's much more about making them feel comfortable, being a true good host and allowing them to speak and not letting me dictate the conversation. I think there's too much of meism. With a lot of content creators, it's very me, and it's like, it's great, people want to hear about you, but if you can put other people on, you can create a platform. Isn't that better? I'd rather something that outlasts me and people still talk about down the line, as opposed to, oh yeah, I saw what he did and it was wicked. If I can do something and it gives someone an opportunity or teaches them about who they are as a person, for me, that's where the passion lies. So thank you guys so much. As I said, big shout out to Yaw for making this connection happen. Please, guys, again, go and check out Absent when it comes out, because it's going to be really good. It's going to be, it might surprise you as well. I know a lot of people have an image when they think short film, they think, oh, no. There's the gap is being bridged between high-end production technology and the quality.
Something else, sorry, we keep extending it. I'll say, like, if you're watching this and you want to be an actor, it's tough, but if you school yourself on it, even if you don't start yet, the process, make sure you watch as much as you can. So all of those short films on YouTube or whatever it might be, just watch them all, good, bad, whatever. Just watch them, because then you'll get an understanding of what works, what doesn't work. If you're a wannabe filmmaker, you need to watch everything and take it all in, and then you'll develop your style when it actually comes to navigating the process yourself. But there's loads of great short films out there, but ours will be one of the better ones.
No, that's what I'm saying. Make sure you guys go and check it out when it comes out. But again, thank you guys for both sharing your time, man. I really appreciate it. It'd be nice to get you guys back on again, maybe when it drops, and maybe we can go into a bit more of the detail of what it's about, because it's nice talking when we're kind of referencing here or there, but once it's dropped, people can see it. It'd be cool to get you back on again. So
of course,
it would be nice. But for you beautiful people, thank you for sharing your time. If you got a chance to check this video out from wherever you are watching it, please like, share, subscribe, all of that stuff. This is free content, but the stories and the journeys it takes to get here is definitely not free, and both of these lovely people can attest to that. So appreciate you guys for locking in, and go check these individuals out. Links will be in the description for not just where to find them, but also potentially where you can find the short film when it drops. So without further ado, I'll see you beautiful people on the next episode. Peace and love. Cover your six.